Yeah. Secret Society Productions. Do them and I'll just do me. Do them and I'll just do me. Masons think they added, blacks think they're national. Celebrating King's speeches at the Capitol. Don't have rights, so they act like an animal. Thinking they the baddest in a dead status. Won't listen when I say they brown, not black. Don't think they sound like a clown on crack. Won't realize since their third eyes closed. Don't realize they waste money on clothes. Children with ashy knees, most are obese. Moms don't cook but order pizza with cheese. And buckets of the clothes, chicken is finger licking. Till your arteries are sticking, hearts stop ticking. They wanna play the blame game, but it's too late. Most still don't learn till it's too late. I'll let them do them and I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and Bun TV. Let the dead do them and I'll just do me. My order of the day is still nationality. Let the dead do them, I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and Bun TV. I'll do me and let the dead do them. Mixing their trees with the cigarette blend. I'll do me and let the dead do them, accepting a slave brand to identify them. I'm on big book, can't believe they so dead. Talking without thinking, brainless heads, aimless threads. If you're black, you're a slave. Instead of humbling, they delete me from their page, calling me names, but that's no bother. Most are the return of emergency fund robbers, pushing the I'm black to cause friction. That's when I agree and I'm in the jurisdiction. They want me Morisco and at the disco. Caravana isn't Carnival, no more Calypso. The problem's not the world, but the people in it. Abusers of authority got the people timid. Not behind the wheel, but giving themselves limits. Things I say make pop eyes without spinach. Too much dead to wake up, work can't finish. The first Jews weren't black or their language Yiddish. Let the dead do them and I'll just do me. My order of the day is still nationality. Let the dead do them, I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and Bun TV. I'll do me and let the dead do them. Mixing their trees with the cigarette blend. I'll do me and let the dead do them, accepting a slave brand to identify them. The dead will do them like they've always done. Won't change unless in front the barrel of a gun. Won't change though Barack said it's that time. Youths killing each other, same content in their rhyme. Rappers mislead, situations critical. When we write that spelling, spells are rituals. You might think not, I suggest every thought that you think should be done very careful. Before you give me an earful, my reply to kinda make your ears tearful. Stomach butterflies won't wonder why. Just accept the message from me from the Most High. That's why most die, cause they don't listen. Nicene Council Conference made you a Christian. Wicked Khalees got circling Kaaba fictions. Allah is from Ma'ad, they say black Egyptian, causing separations and black divisions. Brown faces frontline on attack missions. The plot thickens, but it's thin perceptions. Got them spending less time on Drawley than Inception. Voting for candidates whose motive direction is to keep us at risk in priority sections and make us have an altered perception. Decepticons got Autobots with deceptions. Let the dead do them and I'll just do me. My order of the day is still nationality. Let the dead do them, I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and Bun TV. I'll do me and let the dead do them, mixing their trees with the cigarette blend. I'll do me and let the dead do them, accepting a slave brand to identify them.
The street is my world. I don't pretend to go uptown and be anything fancy. I can, but I find more real in the world that I'm in than I do the tinsel. And the real world is the one I have to deal with every day, you know. Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be nothing left.
Let the bass kick.
Playtime been over since y'all dropped the ball. Bound to the continent, there's no asylum for y'all. Pushing the black Asiatic game with Ford L and Pool Bay. Before NOI, I rep Draw L all day. How many fakes proclaim to be the reincarnation and claim to be the true head of the Moorish nation? No mention of Billy Ill, but I read his letters. Dirty Moore's mad cause they thought they dead as letters. Many were there when decisions were handed down. Now they claim that Billy Ill was not ordained, not commissioned, not called or appointed. with divine plans for ages, but dirty Moors making changes, working with FBI during infiltrations. In a pheasant alleys, giving boldly smoke inhalations. And secret laws are made, heads are made in public mentions. Don't believe, get the minutes of the first convention. Kirkman and Lomax Bay got called out as villains against the prophet Soden and L. Paul Gibbons. Thousands of Moorish Americans followed those leaders that killed the prophet and made Moors parrots, not readers. They don't study, brains hollow. To crush the truth, plant dissension in the ones that follow. Robbed the treasury, felt like they hit the lotto. Took advantage of the faithful Moors in their times of sorrow. Moments still critical 100 years later. The message, stick to the principles in your actions, be progressive. Don't sell your soul for a title, take your membership role. Watch out for grand cheeks pushing you in a censorship hole. The sellout was great, now they comfy and won't get the hell out. Active Moors come around, they get clumsy. Not humbly, but act grumpy and jumpy. Active Moors see them touchy and think it's lovely. With faces ugly, I push back so don't shove me. If not for love, it would be just as dirty Moors get from me. Hitting all reincarnates and writs of discovery and demanding the treasury recovery and love for money. Wearing a fez don't make you a Moorish adept. Dirty Moorish heads are Boy Scouts and cadets. Working for FBI inspectors, slaves for gadgets. Claiming they got pulled, but they really dead magnets. Running a fraud that's done cause new Moors are here. One for all for one profit like musketeers. Bay, not Tampa or Buccaneers. I strike nerves like harp on strings on those puppeteers. Pushing misconceptions as features and calling it facts. Swinging my scimitar, tongue not a fireman's axe. Quick to call me out as dirty, say I violate acts. If you don't nationalize, know that I annihilate blacks. Nailing through their palms and incepts on beams of wood. Burn crosses on black lawns in my Moorish hood. Black Klansmen like movie from 1960s. White power, not supremacy like Clayton Bigsby. Now I run through illusions, battling my arch nemesis, misconfusion. She's been trying to keep me out of course, facing losses, calling all her negative forces. 99 years past, Drew Ali said 50 would pass, and you wouldn't know about me, or even know what up. Oh, forget it. Hey, Islam to all the Moors. Peace, Moors. I want to say something, and I want to make sure that it's clear. We're Moors. We're not anything else. Anybody who's not saying that you're Moors, probably selling you out. Real simple. And because we're Moors, there's Moors on our side of the movement that thought this was only a joke and unreal, and we call those Moors dirty Moors, because they're not about uplifting our people and getting them where they're supposed to be. They're about trying to get views. They're about, what did the Moor tell me at the slave today? 30 views for 30 years. That's what they're on. They're all about getting views, telling you some BS, selling you out. But after this realm, when they go wherever they're going for being sellouts and dirty Moors, it's going to be years. And remember, 1,000 years is like 1 year to the Most High. So that's what they're up for. That's what they're up for. I say peace to my brother from another mother. Brother Sananda Osiris Bey, who people know as Travis Blackman. Travis Blackman sent me something today. And he did a class at the temple talking about the language and breaking down the language and all that. He sent me something today. And we just want to put it out there so that people who think that they're not Moors to maybe get the point. You know, and then you make them get on this side of the fence that we're Moors, but then when they get on this side, don't forget that there's dirty Moors over here. Not because you see turbans and fezzes, you think everybody's down for the liberation of our people. There's people who are in this for views, 30 views for 30 years. That's what they're about. That's their thing. Just check the record. Look at all these people just popping up. And everybody has something negative to say about Kudro L. They got something negative to say about Rasmariah Bay. They got something negative to say about everybody who's doing something. Everybody who's doing something right now in this day and time, something to say. But we're gonna let Big Mouth tell you. Big Mouth is a children's show on Netflix. Remember, children's show on Netflix.
Oh boy, you okay with him? This book is really good. It's called The Rock of Gibraltar. It won the Gerson Prize for Historical Fiction. You should read it for Gustavo. You okay with him? This book is really good. It's called The Rock of Gibraltar. It won the Gerson Prize for Historical Fiction. You should read it for Gustavo alone. Well, what's the book about? Oh, wow. The book takes place during the Moorish rule in Spain. So there's this guy, Gustavo of Sevilla, who falls in love with a Moorish princess Fatima. Gustavo is Catholic and she's Islamic, and their love is forbidden. But then Gustavo needs to see her because he loves her so much.
Big Mouth on Netflix. Now, how is it that a cartoon Asiatic girl is sitting down with a redhead European girl? And the Asiatic girl starts talking about rocks of Gibraltar. This is just a little Asiatic girl reading a book in the library. And the book she's reading is about Moorish history. She's a cartoon girl. Cartoon girl knows when she goes to the library, go read about the Moors. And then make sure you get that part in the show that other children are going to watch. Because, you know, her show is for the children. Because she's a cartoon girl. She's a cartoon girl. A cartoon girl an Asiatic cartoon girl is telling you about Moorish history. And remember, once you're in the lane, right? Like, for example, this is not something we're going to talk about today. Just right now, he just sent this. This is not some discussion of something. He sent this today, like under an hour ago. Now, if he's going to send this thing, I don't know, who cares whatever he was doing. He bumped into this, said, hey, what the hell? Record this, send it to Kudro. And then I receive it, share it out. And then I'm using that today to talk about, because we're live on YouTube. Wasn't supposed to be live on YouTube. That's something that just happened that fits right with the frequency. That's not us doing that. That's not him doing that. His higher self told him send that. Why? He doesn't know as the body. Just who are you gonna send it to? Send it to somebody who's a Moor. Well, the Morris Moor that I know is Cujo L. So I'm gonna send it to him. He sends it to me. I send it to other Moors, Moorish Moors, who they're getting it, and they're like, "What the hell? Where do you get this?" I have children, and we watch cartoons, and I never seen this ever. You see how Allah works? That's how Allah works. Didn't even have to bring this up. Didn't have to be anything to be brought up. But it's a cartoon. And it's on Netflix. And they know about Moors? And then all these jackasses out here who think that they're black are going to be watching that with their children, and they're going to be thinking about what Seti said about whoever, and what Pharaoh said, and what all the great debaters of the Moors said, instead of coming to the realization, hold on a second, there's a goddamn cartoon right now telling me about Moors. All these people doing all these lectures and all this type of stuff, trying to say that not being Moors is what it's about or whatever. How come these guys who have a TV show, oh, that's propaganda. They're talking about Moors because, oh, they're the Illuminati and they're Masons, so they're going to talk about the Moors because the Moors are Masons. That's your logic? All right, cool. You do you with that logic. There's a lot being revealed. People are getting the open hand slaps right now, and they're just standing there. They don't even get it. They realize that they just got the open hand. Race misconsciousness. Many people of the human race in these days have limited consciousness as to what legal implications a displaced word can cause. The Inquisition has really proven profitable for the Roman colonists in their occupying the Americas. The negating spirits generated by misplacing the words nigger, negro, black, coon, shine, jigaboo, nigga, my nigga, etc., does foul things to a race of people. It rapes them of their dignity and legal status in society. Have you ever thought about why every 10 to 15 years, the European colonists and politicians who occupy seats of government in North America arbitrarily change the identity of a people using anthropoid names and then call them a part of the human race? Did you ever consider their deviant legal surety motives? Consider your household. You associate yourself with where you live or where you were born and with family members and friends. Ask any of them if you can take a look at their state, province issued birth certificates. Carefully examine these vital documents, though colored, and then ask yourself, how could such a multiple of contradictions possibly be valid? One or more persons may be the offspring of the same mother and father. Sometimes there may be a different father but the same mother. This birth relationship can also occur vice versa. You may know that on one corporate, provincial, state issued birth certificate, according to the era of time, the European administrators have written the word Negroid or Negro. On another colored, on another black, on another African American, etc. There is no way in truth that these corporate constructed instruments have any possible true bearings of proof of identity according to the rules that govern evidence, genetic lineage, or in grammar. You would have to be of the genetic seed from which you came. Thus, you are today. Who your forefathers were, without doubt or contradiction. Have you ever questioned why these social and political distortions do not plague or happen to other sovereign people or to any other nation of people? Let us take a look at these words as you read through the nigger problem and examine them. Be prepared to adjust your preconceived notions about race and nationhood. Think, consider for one moment that you may not have paid close attention to. Be prepared to adjust your preconceived notions about race. The preconceived notions, the fictions that we thought were reality. Heterogeneous, hybrida, Paleolithic. Alluding to the main clarification reference points of this treaty, we will authoritatively state that there is scientific evidentiary proof that the names Negro, nigger are not grammatically truthful, nor scientifically applicable when signified to identify the dark olive-skinned natural people. Their burnished copper complexion is of a divine relationship with the sun and with nature. Nigger is not homogeneous to the consanguinity or pedigree of the original Asiatic dark olive complexion natural peoples of the earth. Negro, nigger, is a beast, being a troglodyte nigger, anthropoid, monkey/ape. The same scientific binominal nomenclature, troglodyte nigger, applies also to the Paleoliths, being the heterogeneous troglodyte nigger caveman humanoid, heterogeneous hybrida Paleolithic. Now, while the Europeans, don't be mad, Islam to all the Europeans who've been backing, you know that the Moors ruled the world. You know that. You know about Morocco, you know about all this stuff. Peace to all the Europeans who are manifestations of Noble Drew Ali's prophecy. That if the Europeans helping me, why not you? If the Europeans gonna assist in getting this word out, in supporting the Moorish Divine National Movement, going to classes, learning, taking this information, applying it, because you know, as ipso jure, Moorish subject, Moorish serf, Moorish slave, Moorish whatever. Once you're under the Moors, you're good. Who has jurisdiction over you? So Noble Drew Ali brought the message to the Asiatics that even though we have the proof about the troglodyte nigger, the Paleolithic caveman, we have to realize that we can't be that, which that's Negro, or that's Black, or that's all the other stuff that our people think that we are, which really that's the European, the modern European. So once you're a European, that, for example, I was on the elevator and a youth man came on the elevator with, I don't know what kind of shoes they were, but they were kind of curled in the front. So the lady on the elevator, like I'm looking at her and she's just looking down at this dude's shoes or whatever. So when he gets off the elevator, she's like, those are some interesting shoes, weren't they? I was like, yeah. You know, what did they remind you of? She's like, I don't know. I never seen any shoes like that before. Like, didn't they look Moorish? Yeah, they actually did. You have a good day. So the Negro Black does not apply to dark-skinned people. The Negro Black colored cannot apply to dark-skinned people. Why? Because they're Moors. Everybody knows this. Damn cartoon sister knows this. That we're Moors. That we have a Moorish history, the Moorish legacy. This is known by everybody. So why is it that our people want to be Europeans? Why do our people want to be the Paleolith? Why do our people don't accept the fact that it's not them? And then people take things, right? People take things and try to play games to confuse the people. But as Moors, you know, like we said, we're the ones with the light, so we're letting you know what's up. You know, and again, you know, certain things that's out there, you know, we don't even care. But this one was extremely interesting because it told me how done these people are done. That, you know, even the European is calling them out on their BS. Even Europeans are standing up and speaking up about real stuff to talk about, not some BS. And then you notice that there's these people who've been doing this for a while, you know what I mean? So they have a track record of being these, you know, controversial people. And then because of this era now where you could, you know, have some of your favorite drink and all that stuff, and you can be somebody that everybody knows, but you're gonna go on there talking about NBA basketball or whatever, and you got on a fake goat head with a cigar and alcohol, which is the elixir in order to do the ritual. But nobody's not saying that that's devilish or demonic or whatever. That's just some sports commentator guy. What do you mean that's just some sports commentator guy? How about that's Voodoo. How about that's occult? How about realizing that people are telling you? Shannon Sharp did that when he was doing his LeBron ritual. To make LeBron be the god of the basketball stuff. And then he did his ritual, and then look, and then that's exactly what happened. Because all these people already know what's up. They're playing their little game, but people are dumb. Nobody, not one individual came out and said, hey, how come he has the goat head? He's the devil worshiper or whatever. Oh, he's Illuminati. How come Shannon Sharp wasn't Illuminati? Why? Because that was your arena BS, your Roman gladiator BS for all you Moriscos who don't want the truth. Love the lie. This man wore the goat head. Like actually had on the goat head mask. With the cigar in the mouth. Like, what are you telling me that that's not occult that they're doing? This thing is way deeper than what people think. And it's so deep that the stuff is just it's just busting at the seams. Like they can't even hold the stuff together right now. Like we said with Shannon Sharp, only people with an open mind are going to know what the hell is going on when they watch that thing that they did with that. And he was going live and all this with the goat head. The head of the goat, which means, you know, in the ritual, you cut the goat head off, right? You use the goat blood, and then you keep the head. And then he's wearing the head. And then the head is Baphomet with the 5-point star in the forehead and stuff like that. So don't get caught up and think that, you know, occult is some negative, and that's why we're talking about. We're talking about everybody knows about Mars. Just go get Idris Shah, Sufi, mystic. He wrote in his book, told you that Baphomet represents the Moors. That isn't some devilish whatever. Baphomet represents the ones who have the knowledge. Oh yeah, Shannon Sharp has knowledge. He has the inside scoop that this whole stuff is rigged. He already knows that LeBron's gonna win the stuff, beat every team and all that stuff. What do you mean? Guy on the other team even came on and said, yeah, LeBron's gonna put on his Superman stuff and then, you know, for game 7. And then they lose. Do you think that you just put ritual on themselves? Playing people. That's straight playing people. David Begun, B-E-G-U-N, out of Europe. Instead of getting its start in Africa, humanity may have had more continental roots. All the earliest fossil members of the human family and our closest living relatives, gorillas and chimpanzees, are exclusively African. Given this fact, biologists since the time of Charles Darwin have accepted that the African ape and its subfamily, the hominines, a group that comprises gorillas, chimpanzees, and humans, evolved in Africa. Evolved in Africa, right? Evolved. Didn't start there. Evolved in Africa. Right? This is how these people know. Because if it evolved in Africa, his next stuff should have been, you know, making a little reference point to where before the evolution. Where is the creation of this humans and chimpanzees connection? This conclusion was seemingly confirmed more than 50 years after Darwin's assumption by the discovery of the earliest ancestors of humans in Africa. My research on the fossil record of ape evolution reaches another conclusion. The hominins began to evolve in Europe, not Africa. The Real Planet of the Apes, A Story of Human Origins, David R. Begun, B-E-G-U-N, right? And he's writing some stuff about the origin of the stuff, and his name's Begun. and he's saying the same thing that Moors are saying. Right? Now, let's just take a quick pause for the cause. Quick pause for the cause. Now, I want to send a shout out to Roseanne Barr for making sure that she studied her occult and her Kabbalah. I want to say peace to Roseanne Barr for telling on everybody. We appreciate you, European lady, because you were actually funny. Your show was funny, you know what I mean? And these people played you and kicked you off of TV and stuff like that because they know that your show was gonna be crazy. Because you never held your tongue. But don't worry, we're gonna give you some honors. We're gonna give you some honors, Roseanne Barr. And we're gonna break you down today. We're gonna break you down. Give thanks, Roseanne Barr. We appreciate you. We appreciate you.
I don't give a what people think. That's it. I care what people do. I don't care what they think.
Roseanne Barr belted out what appeared to be what may have been a deliberately shrill, many said offensive rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner.
As she walked away from the microphone, Barr made a mock gesture of grabbing her crotch and then spitting.
Check out my Hitler shit. That's Hitler. Who better a symbol of Germany than Hitler?
And now, what did your detractors have to say about
Oh
that?
my God, you don't want to piss off Jews. Even if you're a Jew, don't piss off Jews. It really pissed me off because they're like, you're making fun of the people in the ovens. Well, I'm not making fun of the people.
You kind of are, though.
I kind of am not.
You said, Roseanne Barr, if corporations are people, then Goldman Sachs needs to be executed for premeditated mass murder, terrorism, mayhem, and grand larceny.
I do say that I am for the return of the guillotine, and that is for the worst of the guilty. The whole Saudi Arabia, all royal family, 911, Bush, all of it, it's eating its own tail. And everybody's like, truther, you're a truther. You know, when idiots are calling brilliant people stupid, you got a real problem.
Reagan did nothing.
He sold our country out.
How?
By a piece to the Chinese. There's ethnic cleansing in America right now, by people that are running for vice president. She took away subsistence fishing for people who that's how they survive.
Being sued by the parents of George Zimmerman. They claim she was tweeting out the family's home address about a month after the February 2012 shooting. She wrote, quote, if Zimmerman isn't arrested, I'll retweet his address again, maybe go to his house myself.
Look at the Kardashians, they, especially the OJ's daughter one, they have no,
I don't know if that's been...
I don't give a what people think. That's it.
Right? So they're mad at Roseanne Barr because Roseanne Barr told these people that a lady who used to work under Bush, who used to work under Obama, was created by Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes created this lady that if you look at her on a certain angle, she kind of does look like a chimpanzee, kind of. Just like the one, the female one in the Planet of the Apes movie, she looked just like her. If you look at her from the right angle, she looked just like her. So we know, you know what I mean? Because we know Roseanne Barr, because we're truthers too. So we already know what's up. We know that that was meant to be funny because she looks like a chimpanzee for real. That people took the wrong way. And that she's racist, she's saying that black people are monkeys or whatever like that. That's not what she's saying. She's not no racist or nothing like that. And again, she grabbed her crotch and spat after singing, after butchering the so-called national anthem. Why do you think she'd do that for? Because she know that's some BS. She's singing for no corporation like this is real. Am I singing for the corporation? This is a corporation. Grab the crotch, spit. Thank you. We love U.S. Corporation. Because, you know, that's how they do. She was just giving them what they know, but they, you know, got some backlash and all that stuff, whatever, you know what I mean? And now you hear that she's getting ready to come out with the show again. And of course, you know, studying her Kabbalah and stuff like that, you know, she has new mind. So jokes aren't going to be really funny for certain people. Because trust me, when you check the tweet and you look at the lady, you can't tell me you didn't laugh because it was actually funny. But, you know, because they got to save face and all that stuff, they trumped up some BS on her so they can have a reason to cancel her show because her show is going to be crazy. If you watched her show before, her show was crazy. They talked about some stuff on that show. Some stuff came out on that show. Always putting something out there worth putting out. That the Muslim Brotherhood, now who is she talking about? What Muslim Brotherhood? The only Muslim Brotherhood we know is Silent Brotherhood. If we're talking about Silent Brotherhood, then you're speaking about the Arabs of the Arabs, which would have been the same ones who got the stuff from the Egyptians when Kemet fell, and then went into Europe with this. Now we'll go back again with regard to the big joke that Roseanne Barr pulled, that got her pulled. Right, this is the big joke. Don't worry about that lady that she's calling a monkey and all that stuff. That's really not what she's talking about. Negro nigger is a beast. Being a troglodyte nigger anthropoid, monkey ape, the same scientific binomial nomenclature applies also to the Paleoliths, being the heterogeneous troglodyte nigger caveman humanoid. Heterogeneous is the scientific opposite of homogeneous and means diverse of kind and nature, composed of completely different characters, incongruous and foreign, being composed of diverse elements or constituents and not homogeneous. The crossing or blending of two different unalike species. An example of heterogeneous would be A plus B equals C. Therefore, a mule is a heterogeneous, being a sterile hybrid of a male jackass and a female horse. A seed crosses with another seed, not of its own origin, produces a hybrid. A seed crossed with another seed, not of its own origin, produces a hybrid. So the Muslim Brotherhood, the ancients of the ancients, were familiar with this and brought into existence beings for one purpose, and that's just to be slave. Which where our fall comes out of. Because to get that far, to say we're going to make some other species, you already know that we abandoned mother. If man has the idea that I'm going to create something when that's woman's job, we're already done for. It was already over. Because we stopped being homogeneous. In creating the hybrid, our mind state became hybrid. Because that's not where the male psyche is supposed to go, into the world of creation, as far as bringing a being on the planet. That's what woman's for. No need a male version that creates beings. Only a warped mindset would abandon the womb for an artificial womb. In doing that, created a hybrid mind state. Which is why Drew Ali told the Moors, give Christianity back to the European, because that's hybrid to you. That's foreign. What do you mean you're Christian? And Jesus is your savior of the, Jesus is the son. What do you mean? What are you talking about? A guy on a cross. Which when you go to Acts, they tell you hung on a tree. So what do you mean? Which one? What are you talking about? So these scientists did whatever it is that they did, got these beings. Realized that their dumbasses realized that, oops, the melanin content in the being is too low, so it would never survive here where it's sunny all the time. So let's put them somewhere where the temperature is more compatible to their molecular structure so they can live a little longer. And these heterogeneous hybrid beings started mingling and being people. There's places on the planet today that they never seen a European before ever. There's a couple on YouTube. They brought some Europeans to some tribes in the jungles of some places, and these people were their countenance reflected bewilderment and confusion and a whole shift in their mind, like not even knowing what to do, how to approach, how to. Now remember that when we talk about this heterogeneous hybrid, we are not speaking of individuals that have very low concentration of melanin, that they're pale, but have dark features, eyes, hair. You know, those ones there have the blood in them. It's like they use that, like the nigger rule, 1 drop of blood makes you, right, 1 drop. We're talking about the heterogeneous hybrids that were created melaninless, that they have no hair that's black. Eyes even lack melanin naturally, just lack it. We're not talking about the mixed up people that we're seeing today that has all different bloods going through them. We're talking about the origin of these people. We're talking about back then, before they were actual, because remember, even though they had quote unquote barns and all that type of stuff, and they were living in those, you know, they were still considered savage people. We're not even talking about cave. They actually have something to live in now. They can actually walk the streets and have conversations with people, and we're just stuck in the cave. And then, you know, and then now they're a little bit more sophisticated. But they're still, as a heterogeneous hybrid, they're still the youngest. Of the species on the planet. Especially relative to humans. A monkey or ape is homogeneous in its natural state. A man is homogeneous in his natural state. Cross the genes of the two, and the result is a paleolith. Troglodyte nigger, a hybrid. When one researches the word Negro, nigger, scientifically, genetically, or linguistically, what do the facts reveal? Who or what real genealogy or consanguine history and makeup are you researching? What is the true linguistic and biogenetic categorization and classification of the words Negro and nigger? The truth about the nigger is much to do with ancient genetic research technology and experimentation carried out in the Yucatan Peninsula, at Mexico, Mexico, MEHECU of Central Amexem, Africa, and executed also in Patagonia. A core aspect of these ancient experiments had to do with cross-ovum, cross-blood, and cross-gene hetero to homo perfection manifest. These scientific hurdles were accomplished at Patagonia by Southwest Amexem by the ancient Moabite Moors. The Anthropopithecus troglodyte nigger was at the center of one particular biogenetic heterogeneous aspect and was part of a broader range of hybrida experimentation and research. Such experiments also involved hybrid corn, cell regeneration, hybrid food, stock, herbs, enzymes, and plant life hybrids, etc. This served to enhance certain positive qualities and improve plant cell resistance for viable fungi and diseases. Come to the Moorish Science Temple of America and hear the truth about your nationality and your birthrights. Go back to the state of mind of your ancient forefathers and trace yourself. Apply the ancient sciences and know thyself. You are not Negroes or niggers. Niggers are cavemen. Know of your true history and chronology. Do not be misdirected for lack of knowledge. Do not be confused by reconstruction, editing, which is regularly practiced by European colonists as they tend to omit when retelling his story. Apply the ancient sciences. To reverse the things that might have gone wrong by others who didn't really know what they have. That's why our paper's Moorish Guide, because we're not led astray. We're not led to the confusion pit. You're not calling no anybody in the know that thinks when they hear monkey, it means black people. Those people are tripping. And they have no knowledge. And I guarantee you that you ask them what they are and they'll tell you they're black or Negro if you ask somebody who speaks Spanish. Which is the troglodyte nigger monkey. So you're not a Negro, you take that on as that's who you are. And then go back again and watch one of the Canaanland Moors video scholars, Sheldon L., with his jump over a Negro. Common sense quickie, jump over a Negro. And if black means Negro, then all these people who call themselves black are really saying they're Negro. So Negro power to you. Negro conscious community people. Negro power to you. Since you love black so much, we're not going to say black anymore. We're going to say Negro power. That's what you rep. The Negro community. They don't want to be Moors, so okay, cool. You be the troglodyte nigger monkey then. throw away your divine self to be a mere man with a mankind mindset. A man with a mankind mindset. We call those dirty Moors and sellouts. Because there's absolutely no need to play. You're monkeys, you're mad because Roseanne Barr called the lady that she looks like a chimpanzee. And she said that the lady came from the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes having sex. Created her. The Muslim Brotherhood and the Planet of the Apes had a lab and created her. The Muslim Brotherhood and the Planet of the Apes went and adopted her. And black people think that that's about them? That was a good ass joke because she looks like a little chimpanzee for real, if you look at her from a particular angle. And that's the only reason why, because I know they're trumping up some stuff on her. I know that's what they're doing. Because none of these people who are saying that they're mad can't tell me that the lady doesn't look like a chimpanzee for real. And that's a good joke. That was a good joke. And even the lady's like, oh, you know, I'm over it. Negroes mad. Are you mad? This is what you want. You want to be the Negro. You want to be black. She's giving you props. She's mentioning you. She didn't have to mention you guys. You Planet of the Apes. You don't have to mention you Negroes. Means you come from the monkey. You're the cosmic connection to the blackness of the universe or whatever, but you're calling yourself Negro. You're calling yourself troglodyte nigger. But you came from the blackness of some Negro. Get the hell out of here. Blackness of what? Clowns. Honors to Roseanne Barr. Been repping. Not playing these people a little game. Not playing their little game. Even people on the show came out. No, yeah, we're not going to be on her show anyways because she's racist. She's racist. These fakers threw under the bus. Yeah, she shouldn't have did that. That was wrong. Why would she say that? All this other BS that she said, you're on the goddamn show. What do you mean? What do you mean now? Because of social media and, you know, everybody could be whoever they want to be, make stuff look good and all that. You have to pay no dues. Just say some BS. You're trying to look like they're some angel. You're not doing anything that angels do. Just complaining on people, snitching on people for no damn reason. People try and do something with their life, whatever life that they got from constantly being played with just because they're trying to tell the truth. Messing up people's life. And people thinking that this is just This is just nothing. This is nothing. She's not talking about some damn black people are monkeys because this lady has a African American great granddad who was some prestigious U.S. whatever. Like, that's not what's going on. She's a truther, remember. She's telling you. Because the Muslim Brotherhood obviously aren't the chimpanzees in the planet. Obviously, they're not them. If the Muslims were chimpanzees, she would have referenced them as being apes too. How come she called them Muslim? You're not talking about some Taliban or some BS. What they know about gene splicing? What Taliban know about cloning somebody? What's ISIS know? They're not talking about some stupid stuff created by CIA or whatever. She's not talking about that. She's talking about Moors. She's talking about the ancient Moabites. Ancient Moabites who did the experiments with the planet of the apes. Made monkey people. Made them. The Muslim Brotherhood. Cut her stuff off because she said too much. You went too far with that one. We let you make jokes about Jews, all that stuff. You start talking about who the real nigger is after we have all these people calling themselves nigger this whole time, calling themselves black, Negro, calling them all these fictions, which all goes back to the troglodyte nigger. Like as black guys, we knew that we weren't colored because, well, you know, up here, it's, you know, weather changes. And we see Europeans turn blue and all that stuff. Purple. You're purple European? Okay, what happened to you? Yeah, man, you know, the sun too long. Yeah, man, what happened to you? Why you red? Yo, man, I was in the sun too long. Hey, man, how come you're blue? That is just cold, so it just... So you're actually the colored guy. You're not colored. Are you calling us colored? We're black. Look at me. And then I'm looking at myself and I'm really thinking I'm seeing my shirt that's black, but I'm really seeing brown. But because of the psychological mind backshots that we got from the guys with no rubber, we have the worst case of claps in our consciousness. Worst case. Worst case. And don't want to give it up. Just keep hitting it. Doesn't matter. Raw dog. You don't learn that you're causing the stuff on yourself. You don't realize that you're doing it to yourself. Because even the little cartoon girl knows about the Rock of Gibraltar and Moors. Islam to brother Gibraltar Bay. Even the cartoon Asiatic girl knows about some Moorish history. Like the Muslim Brotherhood is the ancient Moabites. The high priest. The guys that brought the stuff to the Christ. Go check all the Christ. All the Christ got visited by the Moors. Bringing them something. Gifts of something, whatever. All the Christ. All the 16 crucified saviors had the guys that came with the stuff to bless the occasion. You think there was somebody other than Mars there that filled that role? Exodus to Canaanland. The Moabites gathered up as many blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Albo-Paleo-Ibrida as they could readily find and placed under quarantine. En masse, the authorities similarly proceeded to transfer the Albo across the Great Atlantis to the land of Angles. The land of Angles is known today as the British Isles, England, and England. Many savage Negroes were killed at Piedras Negras, Piedras Negras. And so England, and more specifically Europe, became the assigned home land of the Ibrida, who originated by way of zygote crossbreeding. The original peoples of that area of the planet moved for the most part back to more sanguine areas such as Tamari, which now inaccurately is called Africa, and to Amexem, North, South, and Central Americas, including the adjoining islands. Many Ibrida, also called Albion, were regrouped and put into intense socialization and treatment for venereal and respiratory diseases. Others from among them ran wild and proved to be more prone to their anthropoid side than their human side or character. Again, others were hopelessly untenable and unteachable. Many who tried to assimilate back into the trees and to their arboreal habits found themselves unable or less able to navigate with any responsible agility. This was a new world for them. For the most part, the niggers, awkward and uncultured, were rejected by the Canaanite and Moabite populace, at large due to their pale, hairy skin, their propensity for transmitting disease, their moody and changeable nature, and their somewhat aggressive temperament, and their smell, which contrasted so strongly with the calmer human demeanor. And so another ancient name was thusly attributed to what is known as England, Scotland, and Wales. This came about because of that geographical area where pale-faced inhabitants, the name is Albion. Therefore, whenever one hears the name Albion, know that it refers to England, etc., and to its more contemporary Albus inhabitants. The original dark olive Asiatics who peopled the land were given tributes, compensated, and systematically displaced. Some were not. The originals are Druids, Dubs, and Danes. Do not confuse these natives with the Ibrida Albion, to whom the land was co-signed to by emergency decrees issued from Olamexum. And we're talking about Olamexum. We're talking about the Muslim Brotherhood. Remember, Roseanne Barr wasn't shy that she studied Kabbalah and all that. Right? She wasn't hush-lip about that. Of particular note is the following temperament and anatomy concerning traits exhibited by the troglodytes. A. Many Negro paleo, a trait inherited from the Negro anthropoids, tend to become very irritable and agitated after only a few years into their adult stages of life. This irritability characteristic appears to have transferred to the Paleoliths. This trait also seems to wade, depending on how many generations have blended back into the human side by way of intermixing, thus an increase in melanin, While young, however, the troglodytes usually acted in many ways the same and no different than a human child. So adult with child mindset. What's that called? Minority today. Again, our people accept it that they're the minority, which means they're accepting that they're the troglodyte nigger. Because a minority is an adult that thinks like a child. There's only one people on the planet called minority. That's not you. You're Moors. You're the ancient Canaanites and Moabites. You're Moors. You're not Negro, black, colored, or came from a chimpanzee monkey. That's not your history. When you say you're black, you're saying that you're a troglodyte, nigger, chimpanzee monkey. Crossbreed with a human being. You're a hybrid if you say you're a Negro. You're a hybrid if you say you're in a conscious community. You don't know who you are. You know? B, many Negro paleo tend to develop skeletal back problems such as scoliosis and arching of the back as they age. Their bones appear to be weaker than that of pure stock humans. C, many Negro paleo tend to come under severe attack from the sun, developing multiple forms of leprosy, melanosis, and melanoma due to their lacking of melanin in the skin. Right? And then again, goes back to these Negroes that like to bleach their skin and not have melanin, which they get naturally, but they bleach their melanin away and suffer severe from being in the sun. That's why when you see these people with sweaters in the summertime, why is wearing a sweater in the summertime? Probably bleaching. Bleaching. The natural anthropoid's melanin is in its fur. The hybrida has little or no fur left from the anthropoid side. Therefore, the skin of the paleo, being albus or pink, has little melanin left. Nature provides sun, compatibility for all and any homogeneous or congenial life form. The hybrid Negro's absence of fur offers no protection from the rays of the sun. Problem, note, we now advance many generations later. Nevertheless, time would pass and many of the paleo became more and more acclimated to their human side, accounted for by extending intermixing. Other paleo regressed and preferred to live in dens and caves, thus the term troglodyte nigger caveman. The first positive signs of civilized order to evolve among the teachable troglodytes is known as Proto-Germanic. All other European Albion strains, stocks, or nations can be traced to the Proto-Germanic. When the name Angloman is presented in text or language, It means it still relates to German in generic pedigree or in linguistics. Derogatory connotations have been attributed to the related words nigger and negro, being a product of linguistic deception, legerdemain, and of calculated miseducation. These tags or brands have been directed toward the defeated and colorably controlled natural people of the lands in the Western Hemisphere. Blind faith dogma in the stuff of everyday conversations and has been an additional effective slave deluding tool effectively used by the demos. In a more simplified statement, one would say that the Paleoists waged war and by force of arms traded sovereign jurisdictional and authoritative places with the Al-Moroccans, Americans. This is the true casual root of most of the social confusion, political corruption, and so-called racial violence that plagues North America. This is also reflected in the dead culture that emanates from their well-presented but deliberately flawed teachings. A color of authority and other illegitimate practices have also been employed to introduce these misnomers into other venues, disrupting the peace in the rest of the civilized world. So the mere carrying on of the slave brands disrupts the peace. And she came out and told you. Came out and told you. It's obvious that she knows something. I'm not going to take it that she doesn't know. Because if she's talking about Muslim brotherhoods and all that, if she's talking about Muslim brotherhoods, she knows something. Right? She definitely knows something. But again, you know, we'll go to another source and just let some of this run. Oldie but goodie. Oldie but goodie.
He becomes nothing but the vomit of the mother's womb. They're talking about scientific equations here of a mutated person. So in this, it says you can have this workout in London England coming from the white boys. You can have, which we already do, you can have a God, you can get in here in meditation. You can get in here and you can have doing sex based on both of you elevated to a higher region of the pineal gland, the spine, the black dot, the pineal gland, the highest manifestation, the crown chakra, all of this opening up. When you get in having sex, you can shoot it up and you can have a child. Doing sex, a child of harvest, or Heru, which would be Jesus, who was patterned after that, which is you can have a God child. Or you can take these things up the chakras, and once this crown chakra and this kundalini is open, you can direct this energy on back down the chakras, which you have 7 chakras, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first 3, this is the one below the navel, disregard the drawing. These 3, these are your lower chakras, right? You can direct these things back here, and you can have a baby off of them lower chakras. I'm told you the man was created out of the lower nature of the black man. Check. Scientific. Whole big old book. You can get it called Metaphysics of Sex. Metaphysics of Sex. Julius Ebola. Metaphysics of Sex. Talking about sex tantrum. Sex tantrum. White boys are doing it now in their societies. You're having sex on a high level.
when you open it up with yoga, breathing, kundalini, pineal gland, you're coming on a high level, you're having sex. They're trying to regrap themselves back into black. Can't do it. Look. Now, all you can do, create off of these lower chakras. Now, Ledbetter, in his book, The Astro Body, as well as the Astro Plane, says that whatever it was, he said that the black magicians of Atlantis. Now, what does that mean? That means the black people from way back then, don't say, get out of these code words. He says that they used to fool around with them lower chakras. Once they have opened up, once you activate the kundalini, fool around, you can direct it down. They used to fool around with those lower chakras. So now they're talking about the fall of man is actually a scientific code of how, not the fall, because it had to happen. We get into this argument, he's right. It had to happen. But they talk about this set type is a scientific code for a sexual tantra practice where they started creating stuff off of the lower chakras. So he says you can have a child of Set, a child of Horus, or a child, that other child. Let's see what that other child is. He means Set. Well, let's see what that other child is. Let's see what that other child is, baby. Let's see here. The child of Horus in this sexual tantra practice. Now later on, this other way we do it becomes a practice. Remember now, the Egyptians are the Africans. They did everything within the confines of a spiritual manifestation or some type of practice. You understand? Now, so whatever happened way back then, it became a practice enough to populate enough people to have this European of what we have today. Okay, you understand? Everybody with me? Anybody unclear? Okay. Or this other child. Let's see what this other child is. Or that other child. Now a footnote. Say turn to page 1 something. These are some notes coming from England. Coming from England. I'll give you some books to refer to this because you can't get this stuff. But I'll give you enough stuff to set you on your way if you want to document it to your friend. Or that other child, a non-human being with super normal powers and intelligence. You see, if he's a soulless one, he's a non-human being, the only thing he got going for him is a high intellect. Don't let nobody fool you. The devil is smart. He got to be smart to put God in hell. You understand what I'm saying? He outsmart you every day. Or non-human. Now we get ready to get down now. Go ahead. Now, we get ready to get down. Okay. So now we see that this practice is going on. This whole war that's going on, this mysterious war with this whole Set type and the Set worshippers, is a group of people that started producing mutated children from a sexual practice of the sexual tantra. Sexual tantra is a good thing at first because the gods used to do it to procreate other gods. Now, all of a sudden, the people start procreating this other child, non-humans, because hue means color. That's right. Hue means color. Now, so now we understand. Now, Gardner, Alan H. Gardner, who translates part of that Hieratic Papyrus, has a book that never got across the Atlantic and never was translated into English called Abduction Extraordinaire. And in that, he says, above Kemet, below Kemet, normal people. Above Kemet, you're talking about that Asia, on up, abnormal people. Coming around the hieroglyphics. He's a hieroglyphics expert. You can't get it, but you just got to understand the name of these people if you want to document things. Alan H. Gardner. I think his grandson is Martin Bernard. So we understand how he's able to. Once he's woke up by Dr. Ben, he's able to go into it and write all these books. His great-grandson or grandson, one of the two. Now, Got a book called Abduction Extraordinaire. Now, this sexual practice, let's get a little information on this. If things are created from the lower chakras, right? That means that because wasn't created from the higher chakras, that meant that it could never have something that was on the higher chakras, which is the highest part of man. It could never have this part fully because it wasn't created from that part. You understand? It's calcified. You see, and Richard King tells you, who is a medical doctor, that when it gets to this part up here, this part, it ain't nothing but a big old rocks, like rocks. It ain't nothing but a big old bone to the white boy. It's calcified. So now, we're talking about astral projection, and we're talking about going to your higher self. When he gets to a certain level, when he's meditating, when he gets to that highest part, he can only hear voices. He can never step on into the other realm. You understand? Which the other realm, this is called the astral plane, which all people inhabit this part until they go to other levels. He can never go nothing but the highest part of the astral plane, which is the sub-plane or the lowest plane, which is us. Then there's another realm called the Devashanic plane, which is the heaven plane. He can't dwell up there. He can't do it. Because in order to dwell up here, we are what you call the microcosm of the macrocosm. As above, so below. Understand? As above, so below. Now, if we're the microcosm of the macrocosm, since he was created on such a low part, what's this? Okay, well, we get some of it. Since he's created on such a low part, he can only go to the highest part, which is the sub-level, which is the very, let's say, halfway to this pineal gland, where he can get up in there enough to astral project and go to other regions. But he cannot go on into the black dot, which is the eye of Horus, which is that good stuff, which is the heavenly gland, which is the Devashanic plane, which is the higher heaven planes, the highest plane being the highest plane being the Sirius. Because when we say this heaven plane, I have done some work to say that but on this part is the sun behind the sun, which is Sirius. You understand? So now, let's go into a little bit of Elijah Muhammad's Yaqub, because we got a story too. So we got to use all our brothers and sisters. I always say, Charles Fish say, you get the white man stuff, then let's look at what the black people say. Well, you know the whole Yaqub story about Yaqub took a group of people to an island of Patmos and he grafted this white man. You understand that? Well, and he said he was created off of the lower chakra. But he also said that since he's created on this earthly realm, when he dies or whenever, he can only go back to this earthly realm. But now this earthly realm, the highest region of this earthly realm is right outside of the earth, which is the lunar region, which is the astral region. So this white boy can only go to that part. Now, I want to read some stuff coming from the documents, some things. I want to read some stuff coming from Leadbetter. We got the book, The Astral Body, which is got A.E. Powell that's dealing with Leadbetter and Anderson. And there's another book that we're going to get next week called The Astral Planes by Leadbetter. C.W. Leadbetter, white boy. But anyway, to go into this, I want to explain something that you've heard. How many people have read the ISIS papers by Frances Fresh West? Whatever. Anyway, she said, well, her theory is she never did buy that mutated. Because then all her stuff mutated in the ISIS. And then all her stuff, because when I first started hearing about this stuff, I heard a black scholar talking about this other than Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I remember her saying at one time in the Nile Valley, a group of women started mutating. Started giving these mutants, and they forced them into Europe. And I said, well, this stuff is sounding more and more like what would happen if this white man is in fact a created man, because the Yaqub story talks about putting them into the caves and hills. So I said, let me go back to Frances Cress. Go get the ISIS papers again, look back in it, and In one of these parts, I can't get. I'll just wing it. I'll tell you out of my head. In one of these parts, she talks about this mutation and these people being kicked out all over the world, and they tell you about it in the Bible, but they use the word leprosy as a method of telling you these people being kicked out. It's also the same story if you go and get the Polish fragments, if you go and get the works of Josephus, the complete works, in the article against Apion, where they're talking about Manetho, when the Greeks came in and said, well, what about these Hebrews being kicked out of Egypt? Not being kicked out, fleeing from Egypt and the Red Sea and the whole biblical exodus. That's all, man. The real story is about that. If we kicked a group of people out that were set worshipers. This is what Manetho said. The real story is we kicked a group of people out that were set worshipers. And in that part, they say these people, we put them on an island first, and in this island, they caught leprosy and all this type of stuff. That leprosy is talking about a mutation that they're explaining in the Bible. So in this part, I said, where's she getting her information? And what she did is there's a 1975 article. Can't think of the man, you have to get the book. A 1975 article by some white boy that's explaining mutation and tracing it on how these people who have mutated, or black people who have mutated all over the world and have been kicked out. We know behind that is a sexual tantra practice that I just talked about. He didn't go that far, but he didn't go that far in the article, but he knew what was going on because he used the code word in his introduction, in the content. And he talks about all this, and this is where she's getting her information from about this mutant. But one thing he did, and I knew the white boys, and I knew the white boy was only something he did. I said, I bet that crap a doctor was into the occult, which is tied into the Theosophical Society, the Golden Dawn, the OTO with Aleister Crowley, the Illuminati, the New World Order. You see what I'm saying? I said, I bet this cracker was in here to even make an article like this, because all doctors and lawyers and people in the higher realms are into the occult. Right? Okay, I said, what's something? And in his article, when he explains it in the 1975 article, he simply puts in the contents that this article is called the Kuna Moonchild Albinism. I said, oh, I got you now. He said Moonchild. I know what the Moonchild is. Now let me explain what the Moonchild is. Aleister Crowley, who is the greatest occult member of the occult ceremonial magician of all time in England. He's the greatest of all. He went to Kemet. Let me go into this real quick. He went to Kemet. He went into this. He got into the occult practices when he was a young boy, and by I think he was 21 or something. He went to Kemet, and he went over there, and and the ultimate thing in this ritual is he went over there and said he was so bold. He went over there in Kemet and screwed some white boys in the behind over there. Because remember now, what you got to do in these secret societies, when you go a certain point, the main thing you do when you get to the highest levels is you got to screw one of your partners in the behind. Excuse me if I'm saying this stuff in front of some kids, but we got to tell the truth. You got to screw some of these people. So Bush and all these boys, when they're getting initiated, they got to do it. Why? Because they understand one thing that we understood too. You see, in ancient Egyptian mystery schools, the first thing to do to go to higher realms, if you're going to evolve to be, you got to kill that doggone ego. Because the ego is everything to get. We as black people are jealous of each other. We go, and it's all about that ego or some part of that self-esteem. So the best thing you got to do, if you got to be loyal brothers, is you got to kill that ego. If the charter, the organization don't bind you together, killing that ego binds you together as brothers. Well, we could do that because we're God people and our nature is that way. But damn, they're the beast. They couldn't do it that way. So the best way to kill the ego is you dupe one of your partners in the behind. And therefore, you got it. He a man, right? And if he jump all bad with you, you go, I know something about you. Humble him down, you see? That's how they became humble. Right. This is one thing they got to do. Not in ours, but in theirs. Because they're the devil. If they want to come anywhere close to getting like God, they got to kill that ego. So they got to stick them in the butt. Bush, we know that Big Boy, Yeah, the Black Jesus song. What's the Black? Bill Clinton, the Black Jesus spoke. All black people love this guy. Niggas dancing the Black Jesus for black people. We know that he's in a sister fraternity. I think it's called the Skull and, not the Skull and Bone. The Skull and Key. Skull and Key, which is a sister fraternity to the Skull and Bone. So
And
you
the
know
Bilderberger.
he's a Bilderberger. We know he's a Bilderberger. The Bilderberger elected him to be the next president in 1990. But we know also too. That's right. He done got stuck. That key done got stuck in his hole. Okay, back to the story. Aleister Crowley goes to England, goes to Europe, and when he's there, he's into the occult. So he goes into the trance and the yoga and all, and he puts his wife into the trance. And what happens with her is some entity comes in her and starts communicating to him through her, saying, "We know who you are. We know who you are." I'll tell you some books to get where you can read all this. So he immediately takes her and takes her to the British Museum, or one of these, not the British Museum, the Cairo Museum, a smaller museum in Cairo, because there's Cairo and there's another. Takes her there and said, "What in this room is doing this to you?" And she went up to a stela, which is, and God, I hope I got a picture of it, which is a slate. A stela is a type of slate or a tablet. And on this tablet, it has a priest of set typing and code. And it's an actual priest that lived in the late 20th dynasty. It's one of those dynasties. And he got kicked out of Kemet for practicing set, and he vowed to get back. See how powerful our people are? Right or wrong, you got to believe one thing. You ain't going to get out of this worshiping God. You got to get out of this by becoming God. Otherwise, people who don't become God, when I get into this, I'm going to get into this solution. People who don't become God, you finish. You see what I'm saying? Not the creator, but God. You got to become the direct manifestation of the microcosm. That what is up there, the macrocosm. You got to become that. Now, the son of Barr. Right. Brother from Mars Brown wrote a book on that. Anyway, so he goes in and she sits down and she's giving him this stuff, this thing, and she starts translating this stuff, writing it down as she's telling him, and translate this book of law. Now, in this book of law, he said this is going to be the religion for the white people in the eons to come. Now, to make a long story short, he writes a book. Now, let me tell you, he starts the 88, which is called the Silver Star, which is supposed to be serious. He got a group of people that's dedicated. Now, let me understand. Now, this is the people. I'm going to tell you what's going on in the secret society that you've been wondering all these years. What's going on? Well, supposedly, Nate Blavatsky and them, they knew by getting these papyruses out of Egypt that their time was going to end soon because they were on a low level. So they said, what we must do is get into the occult sciences, just the metaphysical sciences of the new age, as we call it now, to rise to a high level, and maybe we can prolong our existence on this earth, or maybe we might be able to become God. You see, they say for what it is, it's supposed to be a key, and we're gonna die trying. And up to this point, nobody has done it, so we know they're on their way out. Listen. Anyway, the OTO, which means Ordo Templar Orient, is a group that Aleister Crowley was the head of, and the AA, which means something else. Anyway, these groups are mainly interested in sexual tantra practices, working with going to certain levels on the level that they can go, where they hear voices because they can't go further. Only original people. And in Ledbetter's book, The Astral Plane, he said, well, maybe we can reincarnate back into original people. Wishful thinking again. And only the original people. But anyway, the Orient, they're dedicated, this secret society is tied in with the Illuminati. They're dedicated with this sexual tantra practices to try to create this new human. Well, come to find out, they know that they can't create a God human. which is a god, which is a black person. So they said, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to grab a grafted mutant, 3 times worse than the grafted mutant that we are. Do you know that Hitler was a part of the occult? And Hitler's whole thing was a part of all that, trying to get the perfect white man. Yeah. You understand? He was a part of the occult. Well, Aleister Crowley and these boys in England was even before him. Even though Aleister Crowley died in 1947, Hitler had studied the occult and went crazy. They didn't mind his process. They saying I want to do it my way. They saying you messing up the whole game for all of us. So it's a family fight going on. Who's gonna do this the right way? And they ended up having to take Hitler out because of this stuff. You see, because he went right.
Ford built the oven.
And all them showed it, right.
And DuPont made the gas.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Now,
right. He had DuPont in them wine.
Ain't that something? now what Crowley and those their organization is interested in is making this mute. There's a book you can get just dealing with Hitler, and at the end of the book is dealing with the mute. And this was a book, it was an underground book. This was an older one from 1965. It used to cost $3 or $4, $5, $1.20 or whatever.
That's the name of it.
But now, and it went out of print. I'm gonna tell you that. But now this book is the name of the book is called The Morning of the Magicians. Now the book is back in print. You can get it for $13. Well, what the knowledge costs? Well, that ain't nothing, you know. We spend it on 6-pack. The 13. So now in this book, this book is detailing what they're dealing with. Now, going back to Crowley. Now at the end of the book, they go into the music and they say, the author of that book is called Powell and Berger. Powell and Berger. Louis Powell and Jacqueline Berger. The Morning of the Magicians. You can get it at the Sphinx bookstore. It's $13, but we ain't gonna go to the Sphinx no more. We're gonna order everything out of this thing right here. Don't worry about it. Come through here. We put out a book list. We're gonna order the stuff right in the black community through Black Media Communications. So when you go there, you ain't gonna find but one book in there, and somebody gonna get that and you ain't gonna get in it. This way we can order a couple at a time, and you can come and we can do it like they call The Morning of the Magicians, going through this whole thing. Talk about Atlantis in here and all this too. Now, so Aleister Crowley group is interested in regrafting, and they got a group of women they call the Scarlet Women, which are women that they have sexual practices with, trying to make this child. Now, Aleister Crowley, what he does, in order to explain the sexual practice, he writes a book. And the book he writes, you're going to get it here too. He writes this book, and this book is about a woman that has a sexual practice, and she ends up having a moon child. You remember what I said about Francis Cress Welsing and the doctor? And I said that the doctor in his article, he said, Kuna Moonchild albinism. You understand? He was a part of the occult. This is how they can get these things. You see, we're sitting around here worrying about validating things to the white man. We don't know that he's already got the jump on us because he has history that we don't even get. They got thousands and thousands of rolls of papyrus of all this science in all these museums, mainly in the British Museum in the Louvre and in Germany. They got all this stuff. They got papyrus in the bottom of the University of Chicago that they don't even loaded that they don't even let you see. So you sitting up here arguing, saying, "Oh, that's some stupid junk," because I can't find it in the doggone textbook. Something bizarre like all of Elijah Muhammad stuff don't pan out. It's not scholarly. You don't even know that these people got the colonization of scholarship.
That's why they control who learns how to read.
That's right. And not only that, the occult only means the unknown. This occult sciences is where they house all the stuff. So now we have learned our history, but now we still going and we still getting these history books trying to get a link between all this, and we can't find no solutions because we're not in the right places.
That's right.
That's what the whole New Age movement is about. So anyway, he gets a book and it's called a Moon Child. And in this book, he tells you about the entire process. He doesn't know the real process, because if they knew the real process, they would have created this superhumanoid, a super mutanoid, let's put it this way. So he tells you about the Moon Child, right? Okay, are you with me? Everybody with me? Everybody cool?
Is that Damien?
Huh?
Is that Damien?
He put it all in their movies.
He's not doing it that way, but he is creating those what do you call it, your clones and your
yeah, all that. He's not doing it. See, what happened was when he couldn't do it through the womb, he had to do it through the test tube. Exactly. They got clones now. They even froze them. They done froze people and woke them back up. Like Khalid Muhammad said, we doing the moonwalk, and they're walking on the moon. You see? You see? They doing all, man, these rappers are into it. Now listen, in the moon child, it's supposed to be his rendition of the ceremony. So what he's doing is, even though there's ceremony in here on well, I can't tell you the chapter, we'll get that and all when we come. On in chapter 1, 2, 3, on chapter 8, they call them the human Cosmos, which is this supposedly this child. In this, he's saying that there's a young woman that goes through this ceremony in this book, and she has a moon child. Now back up. What's a moon child? Well, number one, we understand that, hey, they the moon child in the first place. Yeah. And I'm going to get to that too. It's amazing you said that. Now this moon child did not tell you that this is the lunar region and what this astral plane is, and it's the lower region, and this is the lower region of the chakras. So they take this energy and they take it down and they create a child from the lower region of the chakras, which is the same set type of child, that other child, that non-human. You understand what I'm saying? That's what the moon child is about. You see, right in this book, you can get this book, Alistair Crowley, The Moon Child, $9.95. We're going to get this and all, so you can read. Now we laughing at Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and they're talking about this, and the white boys are writing in their own literature. And this is not, then this is, let me tell you something about this white boy here. This white boy wrote over 70-something books. He is no joke. Since we got to validate everything with European scholarship, he went to Cambridge, which is a big town, which is bigger than Harvard, which is more, I mean, you don't get no greater than Oxford and Cambridge. Right? He lived in England, and like Farrakhan said one time, you think this American crack or something. You ain't no match for no English crap. He go with that shitty whole boy, and he the real beast.
That's right.
He that untouched beast, not that diluted beast.
That's right.
You understand? So he writes the book, The Moon Child. Damn, he writes the book, The Moon Child. Now, listen. Why would they write this stuff? How do they get all this knowledge? And I tell you that they got papyrus right in Europe. It's explaining all this grafted, mutated stuff and how they were created. That's how they would know how to establish genetics. So they know to establish the secret societies to go to a higher level because they already know something when they went in the early 1900s, early 1800s, 19th century, when they went into Kemet and got all this papyrus rolled out. Well, it's funny because the papyrus I just gave you is called a Hieratic Papyrus of the British Museum. And it's named the Chester Beatty Hieratic Papyrus, translated by Alan H. Gardner, the famous Egyptologist. Well, Chester Beatty is the person who, so-called, I guess he was the archaeologist or whatever who found it. You understand what I'm saying? So papyrus is under his name, so they named it the Chester Beatty Papyrus. Well, I want to read you something. See, that's why we don't need to deal no more if the white man ain't said it ain't true in his stuff, because he's not giving you all the knowledge. He would be a fool to give you all the knowledge and take himself out. Well, now, it's funny that now, taking this all the way back to the ancient documents, we don't need to hear no more about the scholars. I don't want to hear no more shit about Finch didn't say it, Diop didn't say it because Diop said it ain't true. Them scholars are poking out to the white scholarship realm so they can get paid. But we don't need nobody telling us no half truth when billions of black people are dying.
That's right.
We need to know from this point on, we need a group of scholars that's gonna tell it.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Look like the man said in Malcolm X, what can he do to you that he ain't already done?
Really?
Right? So we need some people to come out by scholars It's going to give you some punctified information. It's going to give you enough to stimulate you. It's not going to give you enough to put you over the hump. And you go out here and get killed by the cracker. Thinking you Afrocentric and thinking you are African. And the only thing you doing is you on the first leg of your history. They say Jesus died from not having enough smarts out of the mission school when them white boys got on his behind in Jerusalem or wherever, right? He didn't finish school. But we don't need, we got to go, this is the new age. That's right. 2 years from the 2000, we need the real deal, thorough, undiluted scholarship. People who gonna have enough guts to sit up and tell you. That's right. And who gonna have enough guts when they go to the white boys, they're gonna tell it the same way. That's right. I don't give a damn if I'm in the same college that the Western name got kicked out of. The guy that lost his tenure. Well, he didn't lose his tenure. Yeah, City College. When we go to City College, we're gonna say the same thing. And let the scholarship lie. Now, Chester Beatty was taking it all the way back. Now I understand how these boys get this type of information. And how these societies know what to do because they got all the papyrus. They actually got the remainder of Kemet in Europe. Even he tell you, when you go to Kemet, you go to the large tombs and it's a miraculous experience where you need to go. But he said all the stuff is over in Europe. The real knowledge that they took out of there 140, 50 years ago, maybe 200 years ago. You understand? Now, Chester Beatty, in a book called The Gate Dreams. Dreams is very important, and gates don't mean nothing but the gates, the levels of the astral plane you go into, either when you're dreaming, either when you're astral project, or either when you die and you go to other levels, the heavenly realm. This is what all this is, and you got to get through these gates. So he said gate dreams. We got a book called Egyptian Heaven and Hell, commonly known as the Book of Gates. It's talking about that. By Buzz, gets $5. Right. In this book,
do you have to have a key to open up the gate?
Right. Booyah. Right. We ain't talking about the kind of key that open them kind of gates. We talking about a few minutes ago. We talking about that off right there. Key of life. Tree of life, key of life. Funny. Look. Yeah, you get on with it. The Gate Dream. Now this is Chester Beatty, the same guy that wrote this papyrus. This is a piece of papyrus he got from Kemet. This is what it says. Now, going all the way back to Kemet, this is in some type of, I don't even think it would be a set typhon in practice. Don't necessarily have to be a set typhon in practice. It could be an Osirian practice, because at this point he's explaining a formula. He didn't say whether you could use it for good or bad. Now, it says, she was looking down at what appeared an Egyptian mummy on a ritual bar, which probably means some type of bed or some type of thing that they put them on when they're doing this ritual. But the woman was still alive, and her body was being used for some type of battery. She had been a tremendous buildup of libido. So they're talking about the libido, they're talking about a sexual arousal. You see, that sexual energy that we release it, if you use it to shoot it up, you got some real beautiful stuff. There's some stuff even greater than sex that we can do. You talk about coming. Excuse the expression. We talk about not coming this way, we talking about coming this way. That's right. Woo! I like that. It says she had a tremendous buildup of libido by means of including an urgent with light wood, which worked like a witch ornament of Europe. They're talking about some witch thing that they're talking about that they did. It says massage of a particular kind, a peculiar kind. A cumulative effort bandage, they're talking about this mummy thing. Force was masked as a corpse would be over a genitals. I'm trying to give you, because this is coming from a papyrus, now that's why it sounds the way it is. Was a gold-plated plaque that was inserted into her genitals. You understand? It was a gold plaque that they did, and it's some type of battery that they get with a cartouche of Segment on it. Segment is a god. Now, Segment is a god, a lioness god, comes out of Kemet. And they got this gold plaque and this cartouche in there and inserting it up the woman. And she's mummified, but she's still alive. And they're using her body as some type of battery so they can pull down the forces from the universe You understand what I'm saying?
Woo! Shit. We'll just stop right there. Because that's crazy. So, Bobby Hemmett, Human Artificial. And earlier, we were reading The Negro Problem. Damn, it's raining like that outside. I missed that. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all the Moors. Peace and love again to Roseanne Barr for inspiring today. Give thanks for Kemet sex toys. That's some crazy sex toys. You going in some other realms and all that stuff. We were playing. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. You know, we already gotta do our closeout music and stuff like that. We want to say peace and love. We're gonna be live again on Sunday. If you got questions, canaanlandguide at gmail.com. canaanlandguide at gmail.com. Any email money transfers for dues or any donations to the Moorish Science Temple, please specify in your message who the finance is from and what the finance is for. MST of A, period, do for nation 7 at gmail.com. DOFORNATION 7 at gmail.com. Keep studying, Moors. You already know that we've made it. We just have to get the word out for these other people out here who are sincere and, you know, want to do something for the posterity and something for themselves, something for those in need. You know, we know that we're out here. We want to give honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali for the great work that he did in bringing us back our nationality and birthrights. We want to say Islam to all the Moors who've carried on the tradition of the Moorish nationality and birthrights, and all the Moors who are around today, once again, that know about their nationality and birthrights. Islam to you, and thank you for all your support, and as well as all the other platforms that, you know, you might see me on, hear me on. Those Moors as well appreciate the support and the positive energy always. And of course, we got to give a shout out to the forerunner, Marcus Garvey, for the great work that he did in bringing our people to the mindset of nationhood. And of course, we can't forget to give thanks to all the mothers for giving us life. So without mother, there'll be no us. So peace and love, Moors. Don't forget, check out That Human Artificial, Bobby Hemmett. The rest of it's about 3 hours. And then there's also, there's another one that was a more recent, not recent, but from the one with the yellow sweater. There was one recent, more recent than That Human Artificial. But, you know, he might say some black and all that BS, but just remember his teacher is C. Freeman L. So don't get caught up too much in the connotative language. Just get the lesson. Islam, Moors, peace and love.
Brought for you, NOI and UNIA knew about him too. Most thought that they could bury the movement, be in charge, passive and abuse it. But Drew said new Moors would come with eyes open, seeing and knowing, far from hoping. Far from belief and faith, master fruition. Study the laws of nature, activate intuition. One day our wheels of industry will stop, and when it starts again, Moors will be on top. Drew Ali blessed with latent power. Warned you, get out the way or be ground to powder. Drew Ali didn't kill you fast, but he brought you your title and estate vast. Confusion continues to confuse, no remembrance of Maghrib al-Aqsa by Moorish descendants. I run through illusions, battling my arch nemesis, misconfusion. She's been trying to keep me out of course, facing losses, calling all her negative forces.
Yo, Midnight. Yo, we got him, yo. We got him. Yo, we got him. Yeah, man. Just pull the rope on the guillotine, Midnight. Oh, man. Let's take it right now, man.
So the darkness, what
do it up right now.
Heads, yo, we still here.
Council with etheric elders in the waters of noon. Reclined on the sun with my foot on the moon. Watching goddess on earth act like witches on brooms. Sipping milk and the honeydew and triple black boom. Touchdown, not subordinate but God sent. I'm the red and blue of Superman and Clark Kent. From beyond the sun to earth, Moabite marksman. Tongue double-edged scimitar, stay sharpened. Flag in the earth first, set up the post. Sea is the land, now the flag's in the boat. Back on the land, follow tears, the trail never ends. I'll be on Inquisitionists, murdered my friends. Stole our culture, sell it to us as trends. Negro, blacks, and colors, stay out the culture blend. Touch your hair, tell you the style they liking. But jack your energy, hair on their neck back spiking. Off the heat of the devil, walking rebel. Why run when police come? Swinging his billy club, drunk off Seagrams. Invisible candle magic, suspect they see none. Pull torch, have them arrested for treason and under. I want bar numbers, put a lien on a straw man that's breaching his oath. Call Orishas, tell all the coon, go for his throat. Pickaxe a cow tongue on parchment paper, sprinkle clothes, put a hex on the MC, drought your flows. Take the water from your throat like doctors draining knees, cause you use ankle weights, bone soft like cheese. Fart stink niggas eating things that's deceased. More rotten than the plan, the clan's plotting on me. Why? Knowledge as a money has me a millionaire. Giving knowledge away like I don't care. Christians tell me find Jesus before judgment comes. He's on the corner selling crack and killing his sons. Zombie brainwashed blacks are still blaming the guns. Point out Catholic priests, man, I'm blaming the nuns who killed Tate and Toba Chung. I'm blaming the streets who killed Prophet Drew Ali. I'm blaming a breach, same for General Khalid and El Haj Malik. Or killed cause nationality was in their speech. Things to make you go and thought to art. Happy-go-lucky rappers, 4 plus naught in infinite debts. Might as well hold your breath and let's see how far this rabbit hole goes to the left. I broke out the chamber, Allah's come in danger. I self-law a master coming with my angels. Iron Sheik, immaculate without the manger. Alpha Hexen, rap boule strangers. Broke out the chamber, Allah's come in danger. I self-law a master coming with my angels. Iron Sheik, immaculate without the manger. Alpha Hexen, rap boule strangers. With cell phones, big brother is closer than steps. Most flush less, but inhale chem streams from jets. Even this god used to binge drink, Schlitz not vex. Never braids, but waves and cameos without the step. No die, never had slits in the brows of the eye. I got conscious, no arrogance or acting obnoxious. 144,000, I'm saying less than that. With all these zombies with big ass shades and big ass hats. Dressing like Lil Wayne, man, just baggy as slacks. Finger a dyke in the shotgun, then crabby a gats. She goes down for prostitution and find it grand. You for possession and for not washing your hands. It's still love, truth, peace, but put down the peace. Wow, we don't need them when we got justice and freedom. Your mind's a mess, trust me, I think you're possessed. Let me unhex you with a mudra of Baphomet, and that won't work unless you know being supreme. No chest has the Solomon crest, always frontin' warm in the Averex. My lowest form of thought is your apex. Iron Sheik X from the Mosque of Malcolm. Devil see me and get white without the powder talcum. Raise my sword, keep swinging, no meaning. Flow deep, call me aquamarine men, raising the lost city of Atlantis. When I speak, it's pictures I'm painting on your mental canvas. I broke out the chamber, Allah's come in danger. I self-law a master coming with my angels. Iron Sheik, immaculate without the manger. Alpha hexing, rap boule strangers. Broke out the chamber, Allah's come in danger. I self-law a master coming with my angels. Iron Sheik, immaculate without the manger. Alpha hexing, rap boule strangers.
Yo, sluts can't fuck with the Cujo. Yo, sluts can't fuck with the Cujo.
Ladies, dogs, spitting flow, it's the more MC. No status rappers need to recognize Allah sent me to rep the prophet on beats, not Muhammad or Buddha. Verbal hashish when I flow, watch your head for hookah. Whatever you think you started, it's about to end. Shimmer all bass swing at your head and your lady friend. I watch no face, I don't care what you hear or heard. You won't see what I see with third eyes blurred. Hip-hop nerd at night, I read till my eyes bleed. I affirm you bleed. I got titles, you want these, I got nationality. You want ECCs and PPSA for freedom. You can't freedom with hearsay. When I spit, call me pepper spray, verbal rap artist. Blacks always shout upon yourself the color of target. Systems crashing, I noticed that they closed all the targets. Blacks were slaves, they got to start crashing the markets. Who? What?
Yo, sluts can't fuck with the Cujo.
Who? What?
Yo, sluts can't fuck with the Cujo.
RAPPERSTODAY. Talk with tongues forked and dressed like party guys. I'm different and will not be compared to them. Every youth claims to have guns, but I'm not scared of them. We walking on their blocks, won't mess with muzzle locks, especially after I use law and back down those cops, kidnapping them and giving Billy Club shots and slapping, sniffing stolen pork off the dash in their paddy wagon, reaching off of office between bars like a chorus. All they want is black man fam at the forest. I'm going at all principles and subordinates. Moorish MC, don't care for statues and ordinance. Feathers make magistrates sit up when we step in. If I plead, it's X relation on the front and niggas strapping, standing on squares like Tekken. You call obelisks, leave whack rappers struggling at cornfields like cotton pits. What?
Yo, sluts can't fuck with the Cujo.
Who? I'm barking at the Antichrist. I'm barking at the Antichrist. I'm barking at the Antichrist. So all the rappers ducking. Impropria persona is the status I'm stuck in. If you get with this, they won't treat you like black sheep. The choice is yours, whether you want to stay awake or stay asleep. A lot of rappers for a check, keep it shallow and stay deep. When pigs kidnap blue pill, I didn't hear a peep. From killed crack and Negroes, I notice your state of matter is soft like porridge. So what you say, it don't really matter. Won't call you imam looking like Abdullah the butcher. Tenderizing your halal pork chops and pressure cookers. Speculative, never acting. Phone cameras, you lookers have no balls like at the end of a game of snooker. Punks like saying you're Jew when you're really a German. Punks calling ancestors black when they're wearing a turban. Punks punch with lines with their benign rhymes. I just tell Orishas of your sins and watch comic fans climb.
Yo, sluts can't fuck with the Cujo. Yo, sluts can't fuck with the Cujo. Yo, sluts can't fuck with the Cujo. Yo, sluts can't fuck with the Cujo.